I'm 82 years old, and I found out what my father did the week after we buried him. At this age, you don't expect new shocks. You think the past has already shown you everything it's going to show you. But sometimes it waits. Sometimes it lets you believe you understand your own life. And then it shifts one small piece, and the whole picture looks different. My father moved $260,000 before the reading of the will. I didn't know that when I stood beside his casket. I didn't know it when I held my mother's trembling hand. I didn't know it when I told my children, Grandpa took care of everything. I believed that. I'm not a foolish man. I spent 40 years in banking. I built a reputation on caution, on knowing where money goes and why. I was the responsible son, the steady one, the one who stayed close. And still, I didn't see it. He raised 3 of us. I was the oldest, then Danny, then Claire. Danny left town at 19. Claire moved 2 states away. I stayed. I thought staying meant loyalty. I thought proximity meant closeness, but I'm not sure anymore. When the attorney read the will and mentioned a recent transfer, $260,000 into Claire's account, the room went silent. 2 weeks before he died, and something inside me shifted. When I think about my father, I don't think of the money first. I think of his hands, large, square hands, a construction worker's hands. He didn't talk about feelings. He talked about roofs, foundations, and keeping a family steady. In my 30s and 40s, I was busy. That's what I told myself. 2 kids, a mortgage, promotions. My father would call in the evenings. Just checking in, he'd say. I'd put him on speaker while answering emails, half listening. Yeah, Dad, everything's fine. He'd clear his throat like he had more to say. Can we talk Sunday? I'd ask, and we would. But Sundays were noisy, football on, kids running. My attention divided into pieces so small it hardly counted as attention at all. He never complained. When my mother got sick, I stepped up. Appointments, insurance, medication sorted neatly. I did everything right, except sit, except ask him how he was holding up. After Mom died, he got quieter. The house felt bigger, the TV always on. I told him to move closer to me. He smiled. I'm already close. I didn't hear the weight in that. The week before he died, he called me on a Tuesday afternoon. I almost didn't answer. I was just thinking about you, he said. Wanted to hear your voice. I looked at my watch. I had promised my wife I'd be home early. We'll have dinner Sunday, I said. He paused. That sounds good. He died Thursday night. Massive heart attack. A neighbor noticed the newspaper sitting untouched in the driveway. When I stood in his living room afterward, everything was neat. Paper stacked, tools lined up, his chair angled toward the TV. He had prepared for things, but I hadn't prepared for the quiet. At the will reading, Claire looked stunned. I didn't know, she whispered. I believed her. What hurt wasn't the money. It was the possibility that my father had seen something in her, or in me, that I had missed. That night, I couldn't sleep. Was what I gave him not enough, or was it the wrong thing entirely? My children are in their 50s now, busy like I was. When my daughter says, Dad, I've only got a minute, I tell her, that's okay, because I remember my father saying the same thing. I don't resent Claire. I'm grateful. The money is long settled. What can't be fixed isn't the bank balance. It's the conversations we never had. I assumed there would be another Sunday. There wasn't. At 82, I understand something now. Regret doesn't always come from disaster. Sometimes it comes from small, reasonable decisions repeated over decades. If this story stays with you, let it not be about $260,000. Let it be about a man in his 70s calling his son, just wanting to hear his voice, and a son who believed there would always be another Sunday. There wasn't. Claire listens. I wish I had, too. If you're young and watching this, I want you to hear something clearly. This story is not about money. It's not about a will. It's not even about regret. It's about time. When you're young, life feels endless. There's always another call, another weekend, another Sunday. You tell yourself, I'll call later. I'll visit when things slow down. I'll listen properly next time. I told myself the same things. I thought being responsible was enough. I thought showing up physically meant I was present. But presence isn't about being nearby. It's about putting the phone down, looking someone in the eyes, listening without rushing to the end of the conversation. One day, without warning, the calls stop coming. And what hurts most isn't what you didn't say. It's what you never heard. So if your father calls you tonight, answer. If your mother starts a story you've heard before, let her finish. If someone you love just wants a few minutes, give them your full attention. Not later, not someday, now, because time doesn't send reminders when it's about to leave. If this story made you pause, even for a second, then don't keep it to yourself. Share this with someone you love. Like this video if it made you think. Subscribe for stories that matter. Stories we all live, but rarely talk about. And remember, after my mother died, something in him shrank. Not dramatic, just quieter. The house felt bigger. The TV always on. Silence filling the corners. I told him he should move closer to me. He smiled. I'm already close. I didn't understand what he meant. Over the years, I visited less. Not intentionally. Life just filled up. I assumed there would be time. That's the phrase that haunts me now. I assumed there would be time. The week before he died, he called on a Tuesday afternoon. I almost didn't answer. I just wanted to hear your voice, he said. I looked at my watch. We'll have dinner Sunday. He paused. That sounds good. He died Thursday night. And at the reading of the will, the attorney cleared his throat and said $260,000 had been transferred into Claire's name. 2 weeks before he died, the room went still. It wasn't the money. It was the secrecy, the fact that he hadn't told me. Claire looked stunned. I didn't know, and I believed her. That night, I lay awake, replaying years in my mind. Was it not enough, or was it too much of the wrong thing? I remembered something. Claire called him every night. Every night. When she visited, her phone stayed in her purse. When she was in the room, she was in the room. I had been efficient. She had been present. One afternoon, I went through his desk. In a small notebook, among numbers and expenses, I found 2 words written in his uneven handwriting. Claire listens. Just that. Claire listens. He hadn't punished me. He hadn't rewarded her. He responded to where he felt heard. Feeling heard doesn't show up on spreadsheets. It doesn't earn promotions. But to an old man sitting alone in his house, it might mean everything.